Hi, this is Carrie Preston, and today I'm hanging out with Stephen Prusakowski on TV topics.
Thank you for doing this today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having
I,
me.
I'm a big fan of the series. I started watching it when I was looking for something to watch with my daughter. And I
Uh-huh.
thought, she likes solving puzzles. So,
There you go.
a murder mystery show seemed like something, although this one kind of works in reverse, but
Yeah.
still keeps your brain working.
Yeah. How old's your daughter?
She's 15 now.
Perfect. Yeah, I have so many people that are saying that they watch it with their parents, but those can be people anywhere from age 10 to age like 50. And I love that because so it's like 50-year-olds are watching it with their parents too, and I think that's great because it's something that people can enjoy together and it speaks to the range of audience that we've been able to capture, which I'm very proud of.
Yeah, we actually, another generation, my mother-in-law came to visit and she doesn't like much. We wanted to put something on. So we put it on and she watched the whole episode, which is
See, you just made my point. Exactly.
So we'll get into Elsbeth a little bit more in just a few minutes. But first, let's talk some TV topics. Remember, there's no pressure, no right or wrong answers. It's all just a bit of fun.
Okay.
So, looking back over the years, what has your relationship with television been? Are you a TV junkie who watches everything? Are you kind of very selective? Do you have go-to shows?
I love TV. I find that I gravitate towards TV more than feature films even, because I like the long form. I like to be able to get to know some characters and then stay with them. So I do watch a fair amount of things. I don't watch all the things. I pretty much stick to scripted. So I'm not really watching very much reality TV or anything like that, or even docuseries. I tend to like the scripted stuff. And yeah. So I subscribe to all the streamers so I can see the things, and I like to be up on what's going on.
You have to nowadays. It's you need a roadmap though to find a lot of the shows.
You
It's so difficult.
do, you definitely do. But I always get excited when I find some gem that, maybe isn't fully on the radar and, I enjoy it with my brother watches everything, so I always go to him, to say, what are you watching? And he'll find things that, you know maybe isn't in the big zeitgeist but is wonderful, and we'll watch that together, like Rogue Hero. Did you watch Rogue Heroes?
No, I've not.
See, it's a good show. You can get it on MGM Plus, so you do have to have, yeah, but it's a British show. Wonderful, so things like that you wouldn't maybe find. I like to seek those things out.
Yeah, there's so much. I mean, I try to write them down and add them to the list, but then as more things come in that I have to watch or that I want to
Yeah.
watch, the new ones that get tougher to jump into.
And do you watch every episode of
I
things?
try. I
Wow.
mean, it depends what, I usually only speak to, I mean, I aim to only speak to people whose work I really appreciate. So
Right.
it's not a chore.
Right.
I
Right.
don't just watch everything.
You watch what you
This
like.
series, Elsbeth had the Kings attached to it,
Yes.
and I've seen so much of their previous work, so I wanted to try it anyways.
Yeah.
But yes, so I usually have some kind of either that or recommendations. So it's
Yes.
all depends.
No, I feel
Um,
very grateful, and as does Michael, my husband, to be in the Robert and Michelle King, acting ensemble, because they are incredible.
let's keep going with TV topics. The first primetime show that you loved or you remembered really loving, is there one that stands out, no matter how good or bad it was?
I mean, I watched a lot of shows as a kid, but I feel like when I was, I guess, in college, the X-Files really captured me in a, you know, in sort of an obsessive way where, I had to watch it, I had to be there, and if we had the VCRs taping it, and if the VCR, didn't click on in time, it was like devastating, that kind of thing. So I definitely credit them for starting that kind of obsession, TV obsession for my generation.
Is there a favorite episode? One that stands out?
Um, uh, I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but I really did like the one that my husband was in about the Brady Bunch. Do you remember this
Oh,
one?
I don't
A
recall
guy
that
who
one.
a guy who lived in the Brady Bunch set, who had the whole Brady Bunch universe that he lived in. Yeah, it was like he was like in an alternate reality that was Brady Bunch. I thought that was fun. I like, but I like the long arc of the story, of um, I want to believe, and can we prove that there are aliens, and the smoking cancer man, and all of that stuff, the big conspiracy theory of it all, the the brushing of the aliens under the rug, all of that stuff kept me hooked.
Yeah,
And
I was a fan of it, but I
yeah,
didn't watch every episode because I came late to the party. So it's
yeah,
one of those, if I caught it, I tried to watch as much as possible, and I watched
yeah,
most of the last couple seasons and
yeah,
saw how it concluded. But I'll have to go hunt down that Brady Bunch episode because I'm a big fan of the Bradys.
yeah. Oh, you should watch it. Yeah, and you can see Michael.
Yeah, it sounds great. So what show makes you laugh the most? Is there one that you put on when you need a laugh or a pick me up?
um, I recently, my favorite one is Stumble. Oh, well, on NBC. I don't know if you've looked at that yet. It's a brand new show. Hilarious. And now I happen to
The
be friends
cheerleading.
with the lead. Yes, I happen to be friends with the lead, but it is truly quite funny. And I love I love that fast paced writing, and it's, just a fun delight. But it's also got a lot of heart, and I appreciate that. I like the shows that can do both of those things. Um, I mean, also Better Things, I think, was a perfect comedy, because it was had so much heart, and it felt very true, but there were laughs, but had truth to it. And, um, I think Pamela Adlon is a genius, so I like shows like that.
Yeah, she's great. She's been around so much longer than people know. Like caught her
Oh,
on shows, growing up, and
yeah.
she's still around today, which proves something as well.
Yeah, and she writes and directs and acts and produces and the whole thing. She's actually going to come and direct an episode of Elsbeth. Yeah. She was on one of our, yeah, she played the chef in season 2.
Oh yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I have a terrible memory. Like as soon as you say something, it triggers every. I
Yeah.
remember the whole episode.
Yeah.
That was a great episode,
That
actually.
was a great episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, how about crying? Is there a show that recently made you cry, or something that stands out that triggers it, or do you cry at all?
Um, I that Dying for Sex with Michelle Williams. Oh, yeah. I was just sobbing, sobbing. It was so good. I thought it was fantastic. Two of them were brilliant. And I didn't listen to the podcast. I mean, I knew what the subject matter was, but boy, that really hit me hard.
Yeah, that last episode especially really resonated.
So good.
Watching the journey, her attitude and the energy she carried in
Yeah.
such a grim situation kept
Yeah.
it positive. But then when the reality hits in, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Oh yeah. It was incredible.
This is a new question, never asked before. Your TV topics confession. Is there one show that didn't vibe with you for any reason that everyone else seems to like, or a show that you haven't watched that everyone else has, and you feel like, okay, I as an actress, I should have been watching this, or I should be watching this?
Right. I can't get into any of the Taylor Sheridan things. I tried to watch them, and my, like, people I like and people I know watch them, and I try to key in, and I just can't. That and Outlander. I so many of my friends, my brother, my sister, friends of mine, they loved Outlander. I tried so hard. And I mean, I loved Battlestar Galactica, same creators. That was like one of my all-time favorite shows ever. But I could never get into Outlander ever, even though I tried and tried and tried.
Yeah, I feel bad not liking something, but same thing with those all those series. They're just not something that I gravitate toward. And my wife watches them, and
Yeah.
she's like, "You should watch this. You'll like it." I'm like, and maybe someday I will sit down and try again, but it just an episode in, I'm like, I mean, but people love it, and they get
Love it.
recommended to me all the time. It's just not for me.
Not for me. I don't know why. Yeah. I mean, to each his own, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Everyone doesn't need the same offering from the buffet. You get to
Right.
choose, pick
Yeah.
and choose.
Yeah.
So let's head into Elsbeth. First of all, congratulations on the Critics' Choice Awards
Thank you.
nominations.
Thank you. Yes, we finally got switched to comedy. So we were in the drama category, and that wasn't helping us as far as any kind of awards. And so I'm glad that, when CBS petitioned, no one seemed to argue with the fact that after almost 3 seasons of sliding into frame and wearing tutus and climbing rock walls while interrogating suspects, this might just be a comedy.
Have you enjoyed leaning into like it seems there's more comedy,
I
like the
mean,
ratio
the
has
character
changed.
was always comedic, so that was why it was a little perplexing that we were in the drama category from the beginning. There's always, she's the character is a very delightful, positive, joyful, daffy, spacey person who, will run into walls and slip on couches and do all those things that are quintessentially Lucille Ball. But I guess it's because, the show is about murder, although murder light. And so, thank you. My husband just brought me some food. Um, and so anyway, I think the comedy, the writers understand how to find that balance, and they do, they find a lot of dramatic moments. There it goes. Um, but ultimately, I think, we're trying to give people a little something joyous to experience, and to, be able to watch with their 15-year-old kid and then go to bed and not have nightmares. So
So about the comedy, you saying you kind of leaned into it more. I felt this season, and I really enjoy your physical comedy. That's one thing
thank,
that your ballet dance in the most recent episode is just it like very Lucille Ball esque.
thank you. That's the highest compliment. Thank you.
Do you have any like comedic training, or is there
I think
are there
I've,
just influences?
ever since I was a kid, like started doing plays when I was, 9, 10 years old, and I wasn't cast as, Cinderella. I was cast as like the kooky fairy godmother, and I would put on, a butt pad and character glasses and pad the, dress and waddle with a funny walk and do a funny voice. Like I don't know, it was just somehow my instinct. I think probably watching a lot of Carol Burnett, I was like, oh, I want to do her. I want to be her. I want to do what she does. I want to, like, become somebody different each time, and give, and if I'm playing somebody different, shouldn't they sound different and move different and all of that stuff? And so I I think when I was younger, got the feedback, oh, that you are, this is funny what you're doing, and getting that reinforcement then, led me to other things. And of course, I've done a lot of drama in my time, but even when I'm doing drama, I always try to find the humor in it.
So you mentioned Carol Burnett and Lucille Ball. Are there any other comedic influences?
I mean, I do, credit them for most of what a lot of my contemporaries and I do, like they sort of the gold standard of comedy. But Madeline Kahn, I mean, watching her, performances time and time again, Blazing Saddles, Paper Moon, all that stuff, just what she could do with one word, it was just, and just make us all laugh was, something to aspire to. Um, and but at the same time, I always feel like everybody's unique, and no one person is going to come to comedy in the same way, and I like that. And so I like being able to, do my own spin on it.
I love your brand of comedy. It's like, again, going back to food, I like to use food references
Yeah.
because they're universal. But, when you're a chef, you don't copy somebody. You get
Right.
inspired by somebody. Something gets put into your brain that stays there. And then, as you're creating your own, it's still
Yeah.
yours. But you
Yeah.
definitely, you have this world of comedy, and they had the same before them, which makes
Yeah.
you wonder how far back these, the seeds of these comedy that you deliver and you
Yeah.
created have originated.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's so many different types of, there's the ladies who can just like land a joke, hard and like, um, Elaine Stritch or somebody like that, and then you have like Julia Roberts, who's a great comedian, doing her, romantic comedies and that kind of thing and everything in between. And so I feel, great, lucky to be trusted with that. And, if I can if I'm doing something on set and I can make the crew laugh, I'm like, I can go home because they don't laugh. They've seen it all. They're just like they're looking at the lighting, they're looking at the equipment. They're not, they're not really caring about performance. And when I did that dance, that tutu thing, they were all cracking up. And I was like, okay, good. Okay, good. And then it's up to the editing. I always get, slightly upset in the edits because I know, what I did in the wide shot and how many times I did it. And then of course, they only use that for like half a second. And I'm like, oh no, just keep the camera wide. It's so fun with the little kids running around me. But that's not TV. TV, they got to cut to the close up.
But it sounds like theater in a way that you have that live. I forget that there's a crew there, so
Yes,
you get to try to entertain them at first, and then get that
yes,
feedback and that energy that to feed off them.
totally. And that's, you know, part of, you get to do a little show every day. Every scene is rehearsal, tech, opening night, and closing night. Every scene, because you're only doing it just that one time that day, and that keeps you on your toes, and it can be a really fun and creative experience because you really do have to rely on your instincts and on the other people that are around you.
And so, like, let's just go with the ballet episode, "Hard Nut to Crack."
Mhm.
The what's on the page, and how much of it, how much are you directed, and how much of it is just you saying, "Okay, this is who Elsbeth is to me. This is how I'm gonna play her," and you
Yeah,
get to kind of just let it unload. Like, people probably are they blindsided on shooting day, or is it?
sometimes. Because sometimes I'll come in to a scene that's just exposition. It's me coming in to sum up the crime, for example, and it's 5 pages of me talking about every detail of everything that happened. But I'll want to do something with that makes it more active and fun and entertaining and interesting, and also illustrative of what's happening, because that's what Elsbeth does. So Elsbeth sort of embodies things, and so I'll do the same thing, and people will go, oh my gosh, that's so, I'm just, that's making it come to life in a good way. So I endeavor to do that. um but the words that I'm saying, they're all, beautifully written by our writers. And, it's my job to take those and lift them up off the page and try to do something interesting with that. Like in a hard nut to crack episode, there's a scene where we go to interrogate the ballet dancer, the teacher, and we go to, and ask her some questions. And when I got to the set, which I hadn't seen yet, we're in a high level with the open space in the building, and you would look down and I would look down and see that there's little dancers down there. And I was like, oh well, there's you guys just gave me a ballet bar, basically. It's just a railing, but I was like, oh, I am gonna do ballet while I'm interrogating her. So, I started doing all of these things and stuff because Elsbeth can't not see that, take that in and want to participate in what these little, kids down there are doing. And so that just like made that scene, and I could tell they were having a hard time cutting around it. I could tell they really, when I saw it, I was like, oh, they really wanted me to not do that because they need to get this information out. But I'm sorry. It's just way more fun for me to do something fun like that. And the director, of course, was like, oh my God, that's so fun and great. And they were all cracking up behind the monitor. Again, this was just something fun, a fun way to activate a scene, but not for the bit, but because that's what this woman would do in this situation like this. And that's what I always try to figure out. And like when I was, dancing with the little kids, and I'm wearing the tutu and the whole thing. I mean, I was like, Elsbeth would take this very seriously, like really trying to do good. I'm not, not trying, she's not making fun of this. She really wants to be a good dancer. And that to me then, is where the comedy comes out, is the more committed and truthful you are with it.
Well, the positivity of the character and the appreciation of things, her joy and wonder, I think, gives you a lot to work with. And it's one of the things I appreciate the most is seeing a character who's not beat down and life hasn't, made them miserable as so many of us have become. And it's just a joy to watch and see what you do with it in the middle of a murder mystery.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like that's what makes it stand out from the other sort of crime procedurals, is her attitude towards everything. And look, you've got to that's a decide that she's very decisively that she's deciding to be that. That's not everybody's instinct. And you have to really choose to be that in this world. You have to choose to be curious, because it's so easy to shut down. And so that's what I love about her, is that even when she's down, she can say, yeah, I feel down. That's okay. But I'm choosing the next moment. And that's going to get me out of it, and it does. I love that about her.
It's a joy to watch. So one thing I love about the series is how versatile it is, and you get quite a range of storylines. And last season ended with a bang, and you had the musical episode that followed. My first question, about that is, you got to do the dramatic. So how was it? The very dramatic. How was it killing off your real life husband? Did that make you emotional at all, doing that scene and having to get into that mindset?
Yeah, it did. It did. To see your husband lying on a cold set of steps with blood coming out of his chest was, not something that you want to keep in your mind for very long. But I have enough distance from the work to not, have it affect me too much. We knew that, we were doing it all safe. It's very technical, but it was, you know, a great moment for the character, Elsbeth, because he's the one that got away. She had everything on him, and he got killed by this person that she had been trying to protect. And so it brought up a lot of conflicting feelings for her. And I think that was great for the show, because then you have somewhere to go, to come from. It can't always be the same each time. And I like it that gave the show some depth and range, and it gave the character some depth and range that we hadn't maybe seen. And I appreciated that, being able to mine the character in a deeper way than I had anticipated being able to.
Yeah, the series finds moments to add this emotional weight that reminds you that these are, people, not just a mystery, not just, being entertained and the comedic aspects of it, but it has that kind of gravitas to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's, good comedy always has bass notes, and good drama always has treble notes. And I think that that's, what kind of helps out, helps the thing out. If the drama takes itself too seriously, sometimes it's a little hard to take, it becomes a little sanctimonious.
Yeah. So, talking about versatility, it must be just a treat to have this revolving door of guest stars. This season, you started with Stephen Colbert, Amy Sedaris, and Andy Richter, who are a trio of some of the most talented, funny people out there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was amazing.
What was it like shooting with them? But also, do you have any favorites, or do you have? And I know that you are a producer. Do you have a lot of input on who will be part of the series and like what guest stars you'll be having?
I mean, we've had so many great ones that it would be unfair, and I would be unable to pick a favorite because we've had so many. But it's just been it's been such a gift because I'm very happy to have these people come on and share this show for 8 days with me, and you just yield the stage to these geniuses. And that's what I love about the structure of our show. The audience meets them first, in each episode. And our writers get to explore totally different worlds and get these, top level actors to come in and bring those worlds to life. So, I mean, Amy Sedaris, I've talk about comedians who you admire. Oh my gosh, just absolutely hilarious. I was a huge Strangers with Candy fan, and she does a talk show like nobody in the entire world. Like every time she would go on, David Letterman or Stephen Colbert or anything, like masterclass in how to do those talk shows. Just makes it look so easy and hilarious. And so, when she came on, she was everything that I wanted and more, and at one point she even pulled it out of her bag, this heart-shaped box that had all these little toy rings in them with like rhinestones and different colors. And she gave them out to people who had kids, like, here, take one for your daughter. And I mean, just like things that you would think that she would be doing, on At Home with Amy Sedaris, she was actually doing on set. And then to be around her and Stephen Colbert, who, have known each other for so long, and then they're not happy that they have to do this sort of seduction scene together. They just were like, oh, good, gross. Like they were just like totally hilarious about it. But of course, they're consummate pros, so they did it. But they were, they were so happy to be there and so game and so prepared and ready. And you could say that for all of our guests. They come on ready to go, and we have a very dialogue heavy show. It's a lot to take on, and to do it in such a short amount of time. We just recently had Steve Buscemi, who's turns out he was a fan of the show, had asked his agents to be on it. Said, can I be on Elsbeth? Will you call them and ask if I can be on Elsbeth? And of course we were like, what? Yes, you can be on Elsbeth. We will, John Toland's our showrunner, was like, we will write something for you. Yes, we will get you on there. And so they found the perfect part for him. And so I don't have that much say in it. I could, but why would I? They're doing such a brilliant job. Our casting director, Finley Davidson, and her team are incredible. And John has a great sense of who he wants to come and bring this stuff to life. And so I just feel like it's Christmas morning every episode. Wendell Pierce and I are the only series regulars. Everyone else are, coming in and either recurring or they're brand new to us. So he and I are always excited to see who gets to play with us next.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's like as a fan as well, because you're like, oh, who's the flavor of the week, and you're right. Like, oh, I love that flavor. And there's so many great. The thing too, I wanted to say is watching with my daughter. It's great because we see a Steve Buscemi, we see an Amy Sedaris who she wouldn't be exposed to, and you're getting an opportunity for now. She watches things and it's like, oh, he was an Elsbeth and she was an Elsbeth, and like their world of such a world of talented people has
Yeah,
expanded.
that's great. Yeah, I love that. I love that because the younger people, yeah, they might not know, um, I don't know, Mary Louise Parker or something, but then they can watch her on this show and go, oh my God, and then go watch her entire genius body of work, you know? But and that I think that's really cool. And then, you know, for those of us who do know, it's like, oh my God, they're on a CBS show. That's so cool. And you know, that's like a real nod to Columbo and, you know, Murder She Wrote and those shows that originally were places that stars could come, hang out, do something, you know, fun for a short amount of time and then go back to, you know, the other stuff that they were doing. And I think that Robert and Michelle were very smart to structure our show that way. And
Well,
but yeah.
I love what you're doing. I love the guests you're bringing on. I mean, every season, every episode's a treat. I'm looking forward. You know, I hate when I get caught up, and I'm caught up now. And I'm like, oh, now we have to wait till
I know,
January.
and now you have to
So,
wait. I know, because we're taking a long break because of sports and all that stuff. We got to catch up on the editing.
well, I'm looking forward to more. Let me close out with a few TV topics questions,
Okay.
and we'll get you on your way. You grab your remote control, and a genie comes out and offers you this TV-based wish. What TV show do you want one more season of? It could be a prequel, it could be an extra season, and it added anywhere in between the previous seasons, or one tagged on to the end of its run. And it's magic, so the same cast, crew that was there, you know, no time has passed.
Ah. Um, gosh. I think I was gonna say Battlestar Galactica. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I loved that show and I thought it was so great and it would be fun to go and revisit those characters again. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna say that.
Would it be a prequel? Would it be tagged on at the end, a follow-up?
Well, God, it did end pretty well. So maybe, yeah. Well, gosh, I don't know. Maybe that was a bad one because it was pretty well done. I guess it would tagged on at the end.
All right. I
Yeah.
haven't watched it yet. That's one of the series that's on my list. That I'm like, well, there's like what seven seasons, so I
Yeah,
keep.
it's a long one. It's a long one. And
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's a you gotta, you know, commit. But I was one of those committed from the beginning.
So how about favorite theme song? One you cannot skip, and if you want to sing it, you get a gold star.
Um, let's see. Well, we're moving on up to the east side to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
That's
Moving
three gold
on
stars.
up. Okay.
Fantastic. What's the line about the beans? I always screw that up. I can't. I have to stop singing there. Beans don't burn on the grill or something.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't go that far.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
go that far.
It's one that I need subtitles for. So, what about a TV death that you would stop if you could?
A TV death?
Yes, even if it
Um,
ruins the series.
well, probably Will Gardner in The Good Wife. Josh Charles's character. I think Josh wanted, you know, maybe to go on and do some other things, but it did do cool things for the series, but it was really intense when it happened. And I know I was on that show, but I wasn't on every episode. So I was also a fan of the show. So I would say that.
Yeah, there was a big fan reaction, and it's like, you know, when you make that impact,
I think people still haven't gotten over it.
I think someone actually brought that up. I'd have to go back and check.
Okay.
Someone else may have answered that.
See? Yeah, that was a big one.
How about the greatest moment in TV history according to Carrie Preston?
The greatest moment in TV history was the ending of 6 Feet Under.
Oh, excellent choice.
Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I was stood up and was going like this. Oh, it's so genius. It's so perfect. It's so perfect.
It's poetic, you know,
It
and that's
is.
to walk away and to still it gives me the chills now, even just like you mentioning it. It's like
Yeah.
it's one that will always stick there with me
Yep. Same.
and with others. And that's a great one. So, what about a TV show? I know let's not do that one because we're running short on time. I want to keep you moving forward. But how about 4 TV shows that make up your TV Mount Rushmore?
Wow. 4 TV shows that make up my TV Mount Rushmore. Okay. I guess there are gonna have to be some that I've already mentioned.
Sure.
Okay, let's see.
Again, there's no right or wrong answers. This is
Yeah.
your own personal, and if you need to bring a sculptor in to change the face at some point,
Right, right. I guess I'm gonna have to say X-Files, Fleabag, um, Better Things, and that's tough, the fourth one. Maybe Severance.
it's a
Yeah,
great show.
yeah. I think I'm
It's a great
stick with
Mount
that for right
Rushmore.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing to think about in case
I
anyone
like
ever asks you.
variety. Keep a
Yeah,
variety of things.
yeah, I like the list. It goes across decades and
Yeah,
genres and everything. So,
yeah, yeah. I always try to balance
um,
my lists out.
and what about the? Well, let's wrap it up with this one. If you had a magic door, one that allowed you to access and to live in any one TV show, and you could pop in whenever you want, so you don't have to give up your real life, which would it be, and why?
Well, I always felt when I watched Parenthood that that was my family. So I kind of feel like, oh, well, I probably want to bop in, hang out with my family for a little while, my TV family. So yeah, I'm gonna say Parenthood.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, we
Yeah.
get a lot of Game of Thrones and things like that that are
Oh yeah.
big, but not
Yeah.
something that's more like,
Yeah.
you go, hey, I'm going to go celebrate Christmas with,
Yeah.
you know,
I like those people.
well, I like it. Well, thank you so much for being such a great guest and for your excellent work on the series. Like I said, my daughter loves it. I love it. My mother-in-law loves it. So that says a hell of a
That's it.
lot.
That's it. That we won then. If we got
You've
all
covered
those
about
people.
70 years worth of
That's what
fandom.
I'm saying. I can't believe we're on a show that does all that. Okay. Well, I appreciate you and it's nice talking to you.
Yeah, it's nice talking to you as well.